Hello, everybody. I need 5 minutes because I'm just making my daughter to fall asleep, and I also will wait for you until we have some people. I will leave my camera on for a bit so you know I'm here. I'm coming back in 2 minutes as my daughter is falling asleep. There. Hello. I was also waiting for Francisca. She just got in touch. We have always some technical issues coming. Like my internet was just stopped working before we start. Maybe some interference in the energies, but let's try to clear it all. Um, so we wait for Francisca for 5 minutes. I hope you don't mind the waiting, but it's worthy, I can say. See you soon in a bit, please. You have time to, if you need to go to the bathroom or have your coffee made. Here is 2 p.m. So we don't drink coffee at this time here. See you in a bit. Hello, I'm back. Hey, Francisca.
Hi, Naisha. Nice to see you.
Now you're live. We are live.
Okay, hello, world.
It just was putting Sol to sleep. We have 6 people with us at this moment, Francisca.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for accepting the invitation.
Thank you very, very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
We are connecting from Peru and Switzerland.
Exactly.
And maybe, Francisca, you can share with the people that don't know about you, like briefly about your, path with the
About
plant.
yeah, with the plant. Okay. I am coming from psychiatric working edge, and I made Novelta some years in practicing body therapist, like as a craniosacral worker. I still do this kind of things, this way of therapy working, which is a very holistic healing way. So I always was very well connected with soft work, with stillness, with energies, different types of healing work. And in my path, I also discovered the beautiful medicine, the Peruvian medicine ayahuasca, and as well also the Wachuma. And I made my path, my learning years in the jungle with dieting. Actually, I did all for myself, and as it sometimes come without a plan, I did not really plan it by myself, but now I ended up kind of like being a medicine woman, and now I found my a very deep honor and a pleasure, and also kind of a fun with with how can I say, with leading ceremonies and bringing this beautiful energy to the people, this beautiful way of healing. And now it is normally and naturally mixed up with all the different techniques I am working to. So I am a Swiss person, a Swiss woman growing up and living in Switzerland. That means I'm not a traditional kind of worker, but still I feel very much and deep and tightly connected with the traditions I learned the way how I learned it to do in Peru. So this way of the ceremonies I am doing with the ayahuasca, they are very close to the tradition. But for sure, I am a young person, not a native, and it has, like everyone, has its own energy.
Oh, thank you, Francisca. Well, I know that you have been doing your. Oh, I got cut dead for a bit. Can you hear me?
It stuck a little bit. Can you say it again?
Hello, people having
It stuck.
technical difficulties. I don't know now if it's in my side or in Francisca's side, but I see her frozen.
Mhm. I also see you frozen, but I can hear you clearly.
I think I'm back now, right?
You are back.
Yes. We're in the middle of the jungle, as you can see, people. So it's a little bit tricky with the connection, but we hope it's going to work.
Yeah.
Um, I was saying thank you so much for sharing your history, but I know that you've been training the traditional way. I know that we all develop our own way to make our ceremonies. Just to clarify that to people, that you have done your training in the jungle, you have studied how to work with the plants, you have your Icaros, that is the music that we are using in the ceremonies, and this is kind of a small resume of the subject that we have for today, because in my understanding, this is the difference, between people facilitating ceremonies and people that has trained to perform ceremonies.
Mm-hmm.
And if I find this information should be given to people, and all the work that shamans, our teachers, has to go, through many years to be able to hold the space and to give, people what they come to receive with the medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So this just, to clarify that part. I have been with you in some ceremonies. I really enjoy, your company and being also, in your presence. It's very beautiful. And today, people, we have the conversation about what shaman does, or ayahuasca shaman does, in a ceremony. Where to start? Here is the big question. Do you have, Francisca, anything you would like to start with?
I would like to add something of what you just said. Yeah, I think also it is very, very important, especially for that. I call it discipline, like the work with the ayahuasca, with this teacher plant, to have a really good training before you feel ready to serve this medicine and to initiate it yourself. And one preparation that I also think is very important is to have a initiation and to have like a blessing. And the blessing is on one part, it comes from a person, from a master, from someone that is well trained and very very good in this discipline and had a long way before you. And one of the other blessings and one of the other initiations is coming from the spiritual world, because this is something else that is very important. You are not like I don't think that it makes sense to serve medicine if you don't have a stable connection with the spiritual world. I think it makes a lot of safety, and this is how this work goes. So you need to have a stable connection to the spirits.
That is very important, what you said. There are many steps, like, like you mentioned, yes, to have the calling, the invitation, of course, for the medicine as well, and the blessings of our teachers. I have found in my path, Francisca, that a lot of people mistake the invitation of ayahuasca as, you know, um, a message of for people that they are ready to do. It's very important to difference invitation, with being ready to perform a ceremony. It's like the
Mm-hmm.
university can, send us letters where they invite us to join them, which is what ayahuasca does, but a lot of people misunderstand. Sorry, like people calling me now. Interference, be removed. Yeah, I was saying it's very important, to have this clear, especially starting to drink the medicine, and when people has already some spiritual gifts, to that will help them to work with the medicine, that it can be easily confused the invitation with a person being ready to work. That means the medicine is giving you the blessing, but for you to train, to start your training. So this is something that it will make a whole different world. I'm going, people, I'm going to
Oh, now I don't hear you. I didn't hear anything. That's then another break to wait a little bit.
Hello, I'm
Hi,
back.
you're back. That's nice.
Yes, I don't know. It was very weird. Somebody was just keep calling me. I don't have this person on my contact, and it's just a number. Keep
Okay.
calling. Yeah, but now I have to raise my app. So I hope all interference is now gone. I'm really sorry, but this is we're live. It happens sometimes. Um,
Yeah,
okay, where we were. Well, I was mentioning the importance of differencing invitation from the medicine with being ready to work with the medicine, and this is
yeah,
basically what we are going to talk today. Because why that a person that wants to work with ayahuasca and with medicine plants in general, why it is important that that the training is done. You know, would you like to start with this uh, part, Francisca?
why it is important that the training is done. There are so many reasons. So for one part, it is very important to do a long time. I would say several years to really focus on our own path, on everyone's own path, like on the trauma task that we carry with us. And this is a waking up process, a clearing up process of the consciousness that takes time. We cannot do it in a short time. These are processing, let's say, shifts or layers that we have to deeply dive into them to get a clearer consciousness and to get a clearer connection for even to work with other peoples. Actually, that is an important in all kind of healing work that we are doing, and very especially with the medicine work. This is a big thing about frequencies. The way that I understand it, it is working with different frequencies, and we, as a medicine woman or a medicine man, or we have to get used to. We cannot be used to all existing frequencies, but we have to get used of many types of different frequencies so that we can hold the space. It is not possible to hold the space without the power and the information and the blessings of different plants inside your body. It is on one part, I think it is an energetical thing, but as I feel it also, it is also a physical thing. Because if we are going through dieting processes, our cells within the tiniest spot, they save and download informations. They make it able for a human being to hold the ceremony during an ayahuasca journey. And without these informations, without these blessings, it's not even possible to hold a safe space. So these are the two first reasons I would say that come up.
Could you summarize, please, the two reasons for the people to have it like more clear?
So one is the frequency work that is coming from the dieting, from the plants, that we are getting used to the frequency, and the other is that we are going through our own processing and really taking enough time for that. Naisha, you are frozen. Is this normal? So maybe I'm just adding some more points to that question, why it is important to have a good preparational time and a good training before serving ayahuasca or another master plant medicine. So what is also very important is to collect experiences of what types of spiritual rooms or human experience rooms, what type of spaces are available in the world, in the space, because there are plenty of spaces that we can kind of like fall into them, or that we can wander through, and we have to know many of them to be able to guide also other people's in their experiences, to support and to coach. Now Naisha fell out of the video again. Let's see if she's coming back. Now I can see some of the comments. Hey Susla, no, you did not miss the whole talk. We are actually trying to do it, but Naisha, she is falling out from time to time. Now I'm just waiting to see if she's coming back. So welcome, Susla. So Alex asked about the importance from the Icarus in the ceremony. So I will be cheeky, and while we are waiting for Naisha, I will just continue and maybe try to answer some of the questions that I just read here. The importance of the Icarus for Alex. So the Icarus, as you may know, it is not about entertaining, and it's not really just about the art of music. Icarus is a very specific form of a medicine. It is a channeling technique. Through a Icaro, we can transport the information of helpful high spirits into the room and also into the space of a person. So a Icaro is asking for help, asking for power, asking for healing, and asking for clearing. Naisha is coming back. Asking for clearing that we can transport all through the Icaros. And the Icaros sometimes are traditional old Icaros. It is a little bit alike with the mantras. Like these are very old, ancient, very, very old frequencies and healing fields. You cannot break them through time, even with different interpretations from different persons. The energy, the healing powers, they can be transported through all times. And if we are connecting with the Icaro, we can transport that energy into the ceremony. Hey Naisha, you're back. Are you back? So I cannot hear you, Naisha, but I see your picture. So maybe to inform you guys that I'm not the moderator of the talk, so I'm just a guest, and that is why I'm not clearly see the comments of you. But I just opened up the second page to see what's written by you guys. So Alex, he's asking about the Icaros formula for Icaros. That is a good question. I did ask this myself earlier. So what I think, the frequencies, the power and the energy is transported really by the melody and by the power that comes through the voice, through the body. It is a vibrating thing, and through this vibration, giving it a tone, a melody, a breath, something hearable, the energy can be transported. And it is secondary what words that we use or what formula they come in. I think it depends much more on the frequency, on the voice that we are giving. It is actually, it does not have to do with the quality of the singing voice. I mean, it does not have to be necessary a beautiful voice. Of course, we would honor a beautiful voice to hear in the ceremony, but it has to be a clear intention, like an empty way for the frequency to go through us, that we are making ourselves open to receive the energy so it can flow through us. It is very helpful if we are able to empty ourselves, to put aside a little bit what we think of, what our ego brings for a frequency with, to fully and clearly receive the energy of the Icaro. And of course, if we are open up to that medicine, to that power of Icaros, we will receive Icaros. And it depends on what language that we talk, or what power or what type of Icaros that we kind of catch, or they can come through us, or what words we will put it. But I think this is an open. Frequency, same of intention. I see a difference between frequency and intention. Frequency is more different levels of energy, not only different levels, but several colors, several textures of energy. And intention is, what we are bringing in, how we are going in, what we are doing. Is that clear? So what are we gonna do? If there are some questions, I would answer them, or maybe we are also waiting for Naisha, or maybe today it's not the right moment for this gathering to do the video. Seemed to be a little bit difficult with the connection in Peru, but I'm not sure. Is this that these people they are joining, are you maybe more people from Sweden? So there is another question. I think this is a little bit of a difficult question. Germany. Luisa Sophia. Hi, Luisa Sophia. And Pucallpa. Alex, you are in Pucallpa, Poland. Oh, it is international though. Cool. Very cool. If you have blessings from a shaman to work with the medicine and another some and maybe another not, what to do then? As Naisha said earlier, it is very important to make a difference, to like really go in the detail. What kind of blessing exactly do you get? Because we can misunderstand invitations and blessings. Working with the medicine in general is can mean a lot. Medicine, all kind of healing works, all kind of disciplines, healing disciplines can be called as medicine. So I think anyway, you have to find out what kind of medicine you are able to work with. Julia, and as always, really follow your 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 passion, where your heart wants to go. And if you are with what your heart wants, you will be successful, no matter what other people say to you. And you will be with patience, you will be disciplined, and you will just follow your way step by step. And on one point, it does not matter what other people say to you. It is very cool to see where you all come from, because I don't have like I don't see who is watching and listening, because I am in the guest view, so I just see the comments. But it is very it is fun to read about you guys. Welcome, Julia. He stole my diets. Can you, Alex? Can you explain me what you mean by that? He stole your diet, like the power that you got from the diet or the knowledge. And don't hesitate to put questions or comments of what is interesting, what I may share. I'm not so much of talking just freely, because it is this subject has so many different areas to talk about it. It is very difficult to start where. Okay, Alex, I read now your comment. and we did learn about. And what was stolen then? It wasn't easy. That is often only very few times it is easy to dive into that work. The topic about, what was the topic about? The topic is what shamans do in the ceremony, and now we are at the question why it is important to be well trained and good prepared before serving and before working as a medicine woman or a medicine man, before working as a shaman, especially with ayahuasca. That is the topic from the moment. Oh no, I lost the comment of Susla. I wanted to read that. One moment, please. Ah,
Hello.
nice. Hi, Laisha.
Francisca, Francisca, hello people. Please help me, all of you, with your prayers. I've been like, it was energy cutting the connection, Francisca. It was really
Wow.
funny because it's just started before we start because the internet was all good. I have my own
Mm-hmm.
router here, like everything good. And yeah, I found the problem. So let's hope that it's not going to continue. But if this happens, what solution we can give? Francisca, we should have the talk on private, record it and post it, or you would like to continue, you know? What will you suggest us?
I think we could actually try to continue with with this talk, because I just started to answer some of the questions that I could read, but on the Facebook page. Since I am just a guest, I don't see really the comments, and they go more down. So I actually stuck at the comment from Susla.
From
I cannot
Susler.
read it again from Susa. Yeah, I
Yeah,
cannot
I,
read it
I don't
again. So,
see. I don't know if I can see. Okay, but that's really wonderful. Thank you so much, Francisca.
very
And
well.
thank you all of you also for your patience. You have been like firsthand testify the energies when they come. It's amazing how they come through the electronics. I don't know,
Mhm.
Francisca, if you was able to read this question from Alex Gongora. He was asking
Yeah,
about,
we did. Yeah, I
yeah, the
talked
importance
about
of the
it.
Icarus in a ceremony.
Yeah, yeah,
Very
I
good.
just answered this.
then Francisca, I will let you continuing, and I will jump when I see the opportunity. So I let you continue with the talk that you was already having before I appeared back.
Mm-hmm. The medicine always bonded to the music, the sounds. Susla, I think it can be different. Sometimes it may it may has to do something of what kind of room that you are going into and what kind of room the shaman or the medicine woman is working with. And sometimes this is bonding very close and very clear, and sometimes you may be in another space. Then it is maybe also not very important to really hear the Icaro or the sound. And sometimes the Icaro and the sound and the frequency, the healing frequency of the Icaro is working for you in the background because you are busy with something else. So it can feel more or less bonded. What do you think about that, Naisha?
Sorry, my microphone was mute. I was saying we are talking about the Icaros, and you was mentioning the frequency of the Icaros, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, for in my understanding, like the Icaros is one of the most important tools to work in the ceremonies. I always compare it like the scale. What is the name? The surgeons, they use this, to do the operations, the
Mm-hmm.
thing to open, the scalpel. Um, so the process of connecting with the plants, it will bring us to this very beautiful experience of receiving the Icaros. And I think you already have mentioned that every person is different, as every plant is different, and every plant has their own song, their own music. In the shamanic tradition, many teachers, they pass the songs, to the students, the Icaros of the plants. But one plant can have many songs. Um, and there is, like you mentioned, there is a frequency, there is a vibration in these songs that actually creating the healing that people is receiving. I always also see, like the difference with the Icaros, how a shaman starts in the beginning, when he's, opening the space and calling the spirits, and, putting the protection, like preparing everything. And then, the songs that are going to be used while the ceremony is developing, depending on what's going on. Like, there are songs to do exorcisms, for example. There are songs to open the heart. There are songs to help people to cry, or to also push them a little bit. There are certain instruments that also can help us. So yeah, the Icaros are one of the most important tools that an ayahuasquero has, or any person that works, I believe, with medicinal plants, because it is affecting tremendously the whole journey, the space that it's creating. And there are researchers also about this, how the vibration and the frequency is affecting the water in our bodies. There is this book, The Miracles of Water, that people can check, where there has been research about, the vibration the words can carry. And the traditional Icaros, as you know, Francisca, they are very repetitive. And I think that is also what creates or give the vibration more strength. It's not about the like the beautiness of the song. It's more about the power of the song. And I think people can feel the difference also, in a ceremony. Some music really brings you to the heavens, or once not to so pleasant places, but you are protected by that energy.
I totally agree by that.
have you, Francisca, experienced, during the time now? How long are you working now with the medicines?
It is the same ages like you. We found it out together in the last ayahuasca talk that we had together. We found out that we started in the same year our own process, and we also started in the same year with offering. So you can
Oh
answer me.
yeah, okay, okay. Then you're like 12
7 years
years
now.
in
I
this.
don't know exactly.
Yeah, I have the feeling, that we have like the same time. Well,
Yeah.
this is amazing. For like a lot of things that has happened to me, like I think it's like when you're studying, a profession, like a lot of things you will also learn during the practice. So
Mm-hmm.
during my practice, there were some things that I didn't fully understood yet, but of course, thanks to the background that we already have with the training, it was much easier to understand. Like I remember, Francisca, once I was in a San Pedro ceremony, and then the Chacapa, the Agua Florida, and like all the tools that I have in the altar, they start to talk to me. And then they started to tell me what are their functions,
Uh-huh.
and this was so like mind blowing when I was able to connect at that level, like with every tool and the purpose that is not just a decoration. Like maybe people can think that the tools that the shaman can have is just decorative or just to give it something, special effects,
Mm-hmm.
but no. And they also told me that when a shaman, managed to understand these things, the tool, like the power of the tool, it becomes active. It's like it
It
goes
increases.
on,
Yeah, it
you know
rises. Yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
so it doesn't matter if, if a person is just replicating, like for example the use of the chacapa.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't understanding it, the power, it will not uh, open the full potential of these
Mm-hmm.
tools that can really also help a lot in a ceremony. So just to
Mm-hmm.
share a little bit, like the chacapa was telling me, well, I'm not just making sounds here. I'm doing more than that. So this was, I was playing the chacapa and singing, and it told me basically like the sound between you and the energy that is in this room. I am protecting you. I'm
Mm-hmm.
protecting you from that energy to come to you. And at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I'm helping people with this monotonous sound, and also very relaxing sound that the chacapa has, to enter in a deeper trance,
Mm-hmm.
to go in a deeper trance. So this was, very fascinating. And then this is again, why it's so important to have a training, because it's like all these elements that summarize, that your ceremony will be really a healing ceremony and not just, a trip.
Performing thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a very big difference. Nice. I like that. So your tools are getting to introduce themselves.
Yeah, like hello, I'm Chacapa here.
I'm here for
It was just like, I wanted to laugh in that moment, like, yeah, I'm being giving classes in my own ceremony by my Chacapa. This is amazing. I
I'm
was
here
so
to
happy.
take me in your hand if you need a deep clearing.
Yes. And they, it's always like in every ceremony, the Chacapas always get destroyed. Like I need to bring new ones. Well, a
Oh.
Chacapa, Alex is asking what's a Chacapa. A Chacapa is like a bouquet, but not of flowers. It's like a bouquet of plant that is also known as Chacapa. This is what Francisca has with her. So this instrument that looks like a bouquet but is made from the leaves of this plant called chacapa is the chacapa. And it makes sounds like, if you can make maybe Francisca for a little bit so people can. So this sound is, is clearing the energy also. Like most of the time, like the shamans here, they sit by the end of the ceremonies in front of every participant, to like close the ceremony and seal that everything, is clear, and they go and do this also with the chacapa. I cannot see more questions here, but if anyone wants to ask questions, you're more than welcome. Otherwise, Francisca, we can pick, what it comes to you,
Yeah,
the things
I
connected with
read
the subject.
earlier. I read the question, what does it mean to hold the space in ceremonies? I think I would like to answer this question because this is one of my favorite topics, because I think it is so important, incredibly important. What does it mean to hold space? Holding space for me is a invisible art, invisible healing technique, and it means that someone, it is not only for medicine, like for ayahuasca ceremonies, for all kind of healing work, of spiritual work, for all kind of channeling work. If a person is able to hold the space, the people that join the ceremony or the healing circle, they will have a subconscious feeling of being safe, being secure. And it will help that the people are going really to deep processing, that the people kind of trust, and they will follow the invitation. They are coming from the inside, from the trauma body, or from that inner child that wants to free, or they will follow the people, the participants, they will follow that invitation that are coming from the ancestor world, or whatever invitation that is coming, you will be able to follow if you feel safe. And the person that opens the space, that creates a healing circle, that is creating a field that is holded or not. So it is an invisible technique.
Also, to add, of what you have mentioned, uh, like when when I hear the word, holding the space, I always see like a bubble, like you say, like this invisible protection or bubble that is created, and where, the shaman or the group of people that is holding the space are also generating this energy, this feel. It's like amplifying. I kind of seeing like the shaman amplifying his or her own, energy field, and that's why I think some shamans likes to also be very much strong connected under the medicine effect, so they can have, more like overview of the space, and also a feeling of the energies, because in this bubble, then you can feel everything, if something wants to come in, if something wants to go out, what kind of vibrations are being, contained in that space, when the space is getting fill up, when it's filling up from energies. I always see also like when people is releasing things, a kind of smoke, that goes out of the bodies, and this is it's important to be clearing these energies. And normally the Icaros are the best way to clear, but there is also Palo Santo and sage, that, incense that can help to clear. So that is something that we can graphically say about, holding the space. And for, for a person be to have the capacity of, amplify the energy, it's also important for that person to understand or to learn how to work with the energies. So when we are doing our dietas, when we are connecting with the spirits of the plants, they are helping, they are making that field to be even stronger. They are also helping to generate, and they like bodyguards, they go also around this energy field to help the shamans to hold the space again.
Yeah. Mhm. I also have I think it is like an energetical construction. And you said you
Mm-hmm.
see it like a bubble. And I often see like a very colorful, mostly green kind of strings. They are going into pyramid structures and very beautiful geometric structures. And I can see by these structures, by these colors, of where we are at in the space. Is it like a clear space? Is it good hold it? Or is there an interruption that we have to take care of it? It is very interesting. I like that feeling. And it also I'm very grateful for what the medicine, like especially the ayahuasca, teach me in that case, because now I can see them in all kind of healing techniques that I'm working with, not only in the ceremonies. We can adopt it then for the daily life. It is very cool that we can be very lucky and blessed to bring it back in the everyday life.
We have a question here, Francisca. Somebody's asking, what if something goes wrong during the ceremony? Does it happen often? How do you deal with it?
Oh, so I would be interested, what do you think by something goes wrong? Because I think sometimes someone, a participant of the medicine, may think that something is going wrong, and I think it is a part of the process. For example, I had once, it is not very long ago, a person, she stood up and she just fell subconsciously in the middle of the room, and I was with her and everything was actually okay with the pulse, with the breathing, but it is just a deep state of letting go of all muscle functions, and it was really important for her just to lie there, and she knew that she is carried, she knew that she is safe. But for some of for the other participants, it may have looked, and it looked like something is going wrong. A person is not well. So this is difficult then. Sometimes something looks like it is not good, and it is. And yeah, but it also, of course, it can be the other way, that things are not going well, and we have to look in the special case what's to do then. There is not a general answer for that, because there are, as we are so different, and we have so many different ways to express our process. We have to be very individual with what are we doing, how can we react, and how can we deal with the situation. There's no recipe.
Um, this, the whole, like all the questions are really good ones to just do a talk about that, you know, about all the, I mean, like you say, it is very personal what can feel or see, wrong in a ceremony. I think, like most people, think that things can go wrong when I don't know, the vibration or the energy of the experience that they are having, it suddenly shifts to a more negative one, or when people start to panic. um, and the thing is, like you say, there are so many different things behind, like for me, when in my understanding, when a ceremony can go wrong is when external energies as well as internal energies are trying to overtake, the space and the energy. And that's where, the shaman then is very much needed, because then is the shaman that basically is going to face these energies, is the shaman that is going to be the one, being in the front, in the front, what is the in the line front of attack for whatever energy that is trying to come into the space or that is already in the space, because it can come, with the people. There are different kinds of energies. We can call them entities, spirits that can be connected, in the energy field of a person. And then when we do the ceremonies, the medicine is clearing, the music is clearing, the all the elements in the ceremony is cleaning. And we know that ayahuasca is a very purgative plant, so a lot of things, will go out of us. So then there is the capacity of the shaman to know how to clear that space from the ceremonies, not to be overtaking. And it doesn't happen. I don't know, Francisca, what do you think? It happens often. I think it's more connected with the level of, I don't know, um, energy. Like if it's a high, low energy, it depends also in which energetical level is the shaman and the energy that is attacking, in other words, or trying to interfere. Um, that can, I mean, it's very difficult to answer if it's happened often. I think that's more like a lottery, so to speak, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in this shamanic field, working in this shamanic field means that we are brave and that we are here to face whatever comes to us. And there are all different shades of demons and low vibrating beings. It is just existing so many things in the world. Like we have this bacteria world, this virus world, this microorganism world. In the shamanic field, it is the same, with bigger, smaller, stronger, less strong, very very frightening or just a little bit frightening, and in every the same on the light side, the same on the holistic creation side. We are just, it is just possible to to meet all kind of stuff.
There is something that is can be not very common to happen, but this is when a person goes in a very deep process where the soul has left the body and the body is basically releasing everything that is being carrying. And I have seen people, rolling and screaming. And I mean, after all that is finished, that process, and you speak with these people, is most of them, I will not say like all of them, but most of them has had a very, very deep and positive experience, so sometimes, a person will go to that process, but then again, there is um, anything that can solid waking is anything that can say that can give a sign that could happen, that could happen, because I have seen people drinking very little medicine and going into those kind of processes as well, people drinking a lot of medicine and not even getting close, to those kind of processes. So it is, I think, more um, like a destiny also, that is meant to be your process, and that's why we need to have also trust in the process and when the medicine is coming. And the most important thing is to have, a person that we know how to deal with that it will not interfere also with that process. And because there can be people that is afraid, and instead of supporting this person by making the person's body safe in terms of that it will not hurt himself or herself, that they will call the ambulance, and then they will, so it's very important to know also what things are happening, and this is the role of the shaman, to know what is the process that the person can be on, and if it's, what kind of help is needed. Normally how we deal with it is through the Icaros and with the singing. Once Francisca, one of the persons here in Facebook is commenting, I don't know if you can read, says, remember when the police came in the San Pedro ceremony, we were in Switzerland, and yeah, we were in the San Pedro ceremony, and
Yeah, it is just like,
one of the
okay.
participants went wandering off. That's why we forbid people to go out walking. So she needed, to be bring back. So the police was needed. So they brought this person back. But we were in such a good atmosphere that I mean, the police just came to say that it's such a good energy here, and don't worry, we're just coming to bring the person back, and bye bye. So
The police was very helpful.
even, like in terms of that, when a person thinks like what can go wrong, if this comes, I think it's again, up to how the energies are also settled, you know and yeah, we are protected. The people that is working with good intentions, with the heart, is always protected, from this kind of thing. And if it's meant to happen, it's meant to happen.
Hmm. Yeah, but in generally, I think actually it is a safe space that we are in. Or I just feel that I am have this deep trust in what we are doing, and with the, especially also because I am, yeah, I'm really trusted and really stable with the spiritual help that is here. And I mean, if it would be just me as a human being, as a woman dealing with these energies and with all these situations they come up, I would be very frightened, and I would not dare to do what I am doing. But with the spiritual help, I know that I have, yeah, I have some very good friends and some very good support on the other side, and they are able to handle it, to deal with all kind of situations.
Mhm. Um, Francisca, can I ask you, because I don't know if you have talked already in the time when I was interrupted out of this talk, about the dietas, because the dietas are like the most important part of our training, and where we get actually prepared, to be able to perform the ceremonies.
Mm-hmm.
And that will, answer also this question: what the ayahuasca shaman is doing, during the ceremony,
Mm-hmm.
protecting the space, calling the spirits, helping people, to release, to remove energies. I don't know what else we can add, to the function that we have.
Mm-hmm. So, what is the question? I didn't get it right.
Yes. What will be, the role of the dietas with master plans
Mm-hmm.
in the context of the subject that we have today? What is what we do
Mm-hmm.
during the ceremonies? Like when you was doing your training, uh, how you feel, how important it was for you to do the dietas, to have. Sorry, my English is not very good
Mm-hmm.
now.
Okay, maybe it's the same by my English with my English, so, but it
I've been
will.
speaking Spanish now for 2 months.
Yeah, but I also need to teach that. Whatever. Many languages available in that field. And it will probably be the same with some people. They are joining us because they are also have plenty different mother languages. So we'll be fine, I think. Yeah, the rule of the dieta. So maybe I also want to add by this question. I was not planning to be a medicine woman. I was with the illness on the way, and with a very strong call to follow the path to experience what is healing. I wanted really to experience and to grab it very concrete. What does it mean to receive healing? What does this mean if cells are transforming? If something is really feelable, grabbable, changing in the physical system, as well in the spiritual and emotional system. This is why I dived into this dieting times. Why I spent months and months every year in the jungle. And I was young. I mean, sometimes I was thinking, what am I doing here? I should have sex, and I should drink, and I should go dancing. Why am I spending so many months alone in the jungle and diving into my shadows? And it was not funny. It was really not funny the most of the time. I think you know that, Naisha. But I felt, even it was very, I thought it was very hard actually to go deep in especially in the diet, because in many diets I was feeling very weak, in physically weak. But in the consciousness, in what I was able to feel, to see, all this connection, especially the nature speaking, like the animals and the earth and the fruits and the trees and everything was starting to speak with me like you were a tool. So in the ceremony, I had the same very often in the dieting times, that the nature and the world and the spiritual world, they started to speak with me. And one of my most important um, tools that I have is being able to communicate with what is here, with what is what is surrounding us, being able to communicate what is visible and what is invisible. And for me, it is also actually what means shamanism to me. Shamanism for me means to communicate. And the diet really gave me it, not fully teach me, because I am still learning it, and I'm still increasing that possibility and that technique and that knowledge and that ability to communicate with what is all here. But the diet really gave me a good basic and opened up many channels I didn't had earlier. I had some channels to speak with nature, hear nature, and I had some channels to listen to myself, what is coming from the body, from the history, from my history, what is coming from the organs, or what is coming even also from the ancestor. I had some channels, but in the diet the channels multiplied.
It is very beautiful what you say when you mention that you start to listen. Everything start to talk with you, and I wonder if everything is all the time speaking with us, but we are in a way blocked or
Occupied by
disconnected. Yeah. Um, we have a question here. Which part is the most important one from the moment that one decides to join a ceremony until they leave the place? What part is the most important one from the moment that one decides to join a ceremony until they leave the space? Do you understand the question? I'm trying to understand it.
I'm not sure if I do understand it right, but you can answer then. So
Which part
it
is
was
the most important one from the moment
more.
that one decides to join a ceremony until they leave the place? Well, I will answer what I understand. I cannot see your name, but I I will say that there is not way back. When you're in, um, you need to be brave to go through all the process and to remember. I think this is one of the most important things I have always have to tell myself. It's going to be finished. It's going to be finished. It's not forever. Like to have in mind that it's a process. It has a beginning. It has the middle part. It has an ending, and the most important is, to surrender, to trust the medicine. I will say then to trust the medicine. Trust the medicine, trust your process. That's the most important part when you step in, because everything that needs to happen there is meant to happen during your process. Um, Francisca, would you like to share, like, can I ask you some questions? So that also people can see, how it's for us when we're holding or performing a ceremony. What has been your most difficult ceremony, and why?
Okay, that was definitely one of the ceremonies I had in America. I was once for 4 months. 4 months. I was invited by someone that worked in the Native American church, and they asked me to come over to hold ceremonies. They did organize retreats, and they hired me as a medicine woman. So I was going into a system, into an organization. It was not organized like I would organize this by myself. So one thing was, it was a group by 14 participants, and five people, they were supposed to help me, but they had no clue, no experience, nothing at all. So it was actually, it was like almost 20 participants and no one really to help me. And it was very, very cold. And for me, it was January, it was snowing, and they had a tipi, but the tipi was open. So it kind of snowed in, and sometimes it rained in. And I found out, I didn't knew it before, that it is very difficult to keep the energy of the ayahuasca floating in the body when you are freezing and you are always not relaxed and in a tension. It is difficult for the energy to float. And in that one ceremony, I can remember very well. It was just crazy going on. Some people were kind of possessed by demons, and they were talking to other peoples and frightening them. Two, actually, there were two men, and one, he was very Christian, and he said to me, Francisca, make this stop over there. Make this stop. This has to stop. This has to stop. And actually, more like 5 or 6 people, they were just all about to freak out. And it was such a chaos. It was a chaos. And I actually wanted to go to the toilet, but I couldn't leave that group alone. There was no one holding the space there. So I just had to hold everything by me. And that was But that was actually a very good moment for me, because this was really a moment I thought like, oh my God, what I'm gonna doing here? There's such a lot of things are going on, and with my human abilities and with my human tools, I will not be able to keep the safe space. And then in that moment, a very beautiful Icaro came to me. And this Icaro kind of like made it. And with this Icaro, three of the participants, they kind of like raised with the Icaro, and then they came to me to offer their help. And then we were four people taking care of the group, and it kind of like started to balance very slowly out. And in the end, I mean, everyone survived, and we were all nothing the other day. But the moment, it was chaotic.
Yeah, it's very funny when you say, like everybody survives, because sometimes, yes, it feels like that, people doesn't know sometimes, like when the demons are attacking us, and it's like a lottery. I sometimes have ceremonies when, there is no demons that comes with the people, as I have ceremonies where I have 12 participants, and then like 10 of them has, like demons, and it's like a party when they start to connect, and we need to clear all of them. And yeah, like you say, like sometimes our human capacity is not like enough, and we need help. I have a really funny one when I was in Hungary, holding a ceremony also for 20 people, something like 25 people, and I was alone. But I have two persons helping me there. But one was one of the participants, and then Francisca, I have two demons start, to try to enter in the space. The people are getting like possessed, and I have to go to the toilet like very badly, and then Sol start crying just from the nowhere. So I have, to ask the person that I know that could like hold the space for a bit. I ask, and then I go down like really, really quickly to be, to check what's happening with Sol, and at the same time just praying, please, I don't want to shit myself. That will be the last thing. And I'm giving Sol, like I'm breastfeeding her, and at the same moment I'm having all these visions, and I'm saying like, please, this is one of the moments when like you guys, like my spiritual guys, will be really useful. Can you please help me? And they took care. They took the demon out, and then everything came back, and I came up, and finish the cleaning. But I was so close, Francisca, to like really do a mess that I was just laughing, and then I was telling the people helping this. But yeah, our commitment is so big that we need sometimes to hold also ourselves. Even when we are singing, like you want to puke, and you puke, and you need to keep singing, you don't have time to breathe or anything.
Exactly.
Can I ask you also if you have ever experienced other shamans attacking you? Because, like here in the Amazon, this is a common thing, and this is also one of the things, or one of the reasons why it's so important to have also, a shaman, because there are sometimes these kind of energies happening.
Yeah, I experienced it in Peru, that someone was attacking me and working weird weird techniques. For some people, we were working with one, and when we, yeah, he was actually common for that, but I didn't knew it. And at the same time, he was a very good teacher. When it comes to the receiving of the Icaros, or to many actually shamanic techniques, he was a very good teacher, but also working with dark brujeria stuff.
Yeah, brujeria people is the term for witchcraft. That is also, unfortunately, part of this spiritual, um, well, not, and it's not exclusively of ayahuasca. Witchcraft is
No,
very
it's
much
not
well
exclusively.
known. That is every, in every spiritual practice, basically. There is also,
Yeah,
uh,
and what I experience now is actually this kind of energy and this kind of not enlightened um little magic things that we are put from one to another, they start actually at the moment when you are thinking badly or jealousy or disappointed to someone, and you start off doing little actions to not do good for something. This is actually like the first step of doing brujeria. It is maybe the most of the times this happens very subconsciously, but it happens very easily and very fast. And if you are well known and if you are learning shamanic healing techniques, you can kind of increase it to a to a worse thing. But it is actually very naturally and a very human-like thing to do little brujeria stuff so all the time. And I think, especially if you want to work in a shamanic field, to keep it clear and not to do bad stuff and not to make wars, little wars between people in your field, it is very important that we are starting really taking care for our actions, and they start in the minds.
And also to know how to deal with our emotions. And
Exactly.
I think what that one also the most beautiful things I have received from the medicine, it's the capacity of let go of control, and in there, to learn how to flow, how to find my center, how to balance myself. For me, let go control is actually trusting that everything is going to be okay, and learning how to flow. So in a way, there is control in that, but at the same time there is not. It's just about learning how to flow. And I think it's the same when we are in situations that the life put us in, and we are a big um, machine of producing energy. So like you say, people can do this by just having all these bad emotions or thoughts towards other people. And I think it's even worse when shamans, because of the amount of energy they can manage when they do that. So it's very important for a shaman and for any person that is interested in this path to first heal yourself from all the
Mhm.
things that can push your buttons, because these are your weak points that can bring your ceremony down and put people in danger also. And this is one of the things that I really don't like from some shamans that already shamans that are wasting, in my understanding, energy and being in fights with
Mhm.
each other. But that's another subject, I will
That's
say.
another question. And just to add something, the key for that is to be humble.
Yes, yes, and be grateful for all this knowledge
Yeah.
that we receive, and the opportunity to bring this medicine also to the people. Francisca, do you have um, something more to add to our subject, what a shaman or ayahuasca shaman is doing in the ceremonies?
So what thing that we are doing in the energetical field is a little bit like a translation between the plant and the participants. And that with this setting that we offer and with that setting that we create, and with that energy work, it is also a translating thing. And it is a different thing if you are taking medicine by yourself at your maybe living room at your home, which I would not suggest that, especially not for ayahuasca anyway. But it makes a very big difference, and it is obviously that if you are start working in shamanic fields or in if you start joining ceremonies, you will not be able to see what is going on. But by the time ceremony to ceremony, all the little pieces are coming more and more into the consciousness.
My microphone, I need to put it down sometimes.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't see any more questions.
Mhm.
And I feel we have touched a lot of very important subjects today. What do you feel about this, Francisca?
Yeah, I think also it was very interesting. It is also it is very inspiring to read that questions and yeah, and to get aware of what we are actually doing.
But just like the last question, because you mentioned something very important with the last words that you were saying. Um, why you will not suggest people to try ayahuasca alone, um, especially for the first time. Like I have personally done it only 3 times in these 12 years alone. Um, I will explain my reasons after you, but what you will say to people?
It's just not safe. I mean,
In
yeah,
which terms?
in which
Because
terms?
sometimes people, don't understand. I think because they don't see how is like as we see when we are holding a space, what's going on the I call it behind the scenes.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, there is the one part is how to deal with the medicine, with the frequency of the medicine. You don't know the frequency of the medicine. You don't know the wave, the anatomy of the medicine. So how can you ride the wave safely if you have never experienced a wave like that? And this is a strong wave. So I would never recommend it, not in the first years. I would recommend it only after some years of experiencing to start drinking alone. This is one point. The wave, the anatomy of of the medicine, and the other part is like in the spiritual rooms in the shamanic field. There are so many different rooms, and some of the rooms are incredibly dark, and you will not be able to to manage to manage your guiding your steps you are going, because we are doing, sometimes we are easily feeling attraction to lightful rooms, and we are very good guided, but it can happen very easily, and it can happen also after 10 years, after many experience, that we are kind of falling into a dark demon obsessed room. And if we are there, we need someone to keep the space for us so we can come up again. So there, and also the one thing is like our energetical system. We have like these bubbles around us. This is a semi-permeable bubble, so that means some things are coming in, some coming out, and we have a natural filtration in that bubble. And ayahuasca kind of opens up that natural filtration, so all kind of stuff can come in or out. And if we are not experienced in what is all able to visit us, it can be energetically dangerous.
Yes, that is absolutely true, Francisca. This is also one of the reasons why, because I feel, when I'm going to take ayahuasca alone, it has to be like a really good reason. Um, and like I say, I only have done it 3 times, and normally, and when a person has potential to be a shaman, or when a person is not necessarily a shaman, but it could have a high vibration, it's a very easy target for other energies also to come. And yes, why to expose ourselves, in going into that situations. The other dangers, what I see, because this is like a personal experience that I have in my previous years, seeing people doing that, is the spiritual ego that comes with. Um, I have seen something that it seems like the light, but it's not the light, and I know it as the fake light, that it
Mm.
comes to, indulge practitioners with, words of like how powerful they are and how much.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I
um,
know exactly what you mean. The ego power, not the heart power. Yeah.
yes, and this is like, for a person that is just starting, it can be really easily, a road that can be really easily open if
Yeah.
there is not somebody there guiding you. because
Yeah. Yeah.
a teacher will know, the difference, the vibrational difference, not just how things present and look like, but we'll have, the understanding how to different something. And we'll also, sorry, we need to say this, it will have her shit together,
Mm-hmm.
And the most important thing, the process of doing the training for me, it has been a process of humbling myself. I don't personally trust any more people that is in a rush to learn, because it's like becoming a surgeon. You will not rush to learn how to do surgeries. You want to
Mm-hmm.
learn as much as you can, as little as you can, to be able to, to perform the best, in the people that comes to you. There is another question here, Francisca. I think we can say our last one to say goodbye to people. And I hope you want to join us again, Francisca. This is amazing.
Yeah, why not?
It says, I'm interested about how shamans sucks entity or some bad energy from someone and can puke it out. Do they then transform that energy where energy go after? Did you
I think
can
this.
you can you read that question? Do you have it in your window?
I have it in the Facebook page. Yeah, I think this is a question about that spiritual surgery, spiritual operations some shamans are doing. And me, for myself, I can say this is a discipline or a tool that I don't do. I did not learn it, and I didn't never had the invitation or the impulse to do that kind of work. But I know it from other shamans that they do it, so that is why I cannot fully answer the question, because I am not doing that.
Uh,
Can
I
you?
have seen this technique. I have seen my teacher actually sucking energies. But I think also there are some times that, before going back, there are also sometimes when we are doing ceremonies that I have seen it like through the belly button that we can pick
Mhm,
energies,
mhm.
and then like in the middle of nowhere you just want to puke something out. I have feel that,
Yeah.
sometimes during the ceremonies when something is being mine and something has not been mine, but what is very important, if a person that is, a shaman doing this, is that this person has the protection for that energy, because like the dietas that we are doing are protecting our energies and are also raising our vibration. Like the medicine itself is raising our vibration even more, so anything that we can catch, it will be automatically purged,
Mhm,
out of our system, or is going to be transformed. And we all feel when something has come into us, because when we go out of harmony, out, out of our hearts, like you can feel exactly like in which part of yourself there is something that should not be there.
mhm,
um, so there is techniques, it's very different. Like my teacher used to cut a lemon and put half of the lemon on his mouth, and then use water and then suck like energies from different like chakras or points, and the lemon was protecting him. But he's also like a teacher. I don't think a lemon will be enough for somebody that doesn't have enough protection for somebody that doesn't have dietas. Just to mention
mhm,
that is a very big detail. um, but yeah, it's my in my also experience, my body has become already like automatically machine of processing energies. Like if I need to puke, I just tell my body we need to puke, you know and I just drink the water. I don't have to push anything, it just come out.
mhm,
So I think it's also a little bit of practice.
mhm. Yeah, it is practice. It is also we are learning that also from the dietas, from the plants, how to move on energies and not to stuck with something.
And this is also what the Icaros are doing in the ceremony, moving the energies. And that's why, a shaman is also important. The music that is played sometimes, uh, like music that is not Icaros, like music that you can play, from like, yeah, a radio or something, it will not have the same effect. It can be used in terms of relaxing people so they can have continue your journey. But when the space is already safe and protected, and there is no need, to do any kind of work. So I will say this was our last question to answer. And I want to thank you so much, Francisca, for your time. And we have been trying to coordinate this for the last month. And I'm really happy that we managed to do it, regardless of all the interference we have today.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Let's do this again, definitely.
Yes. I will invite, the people that's been watching today to write also in the comments later suggestions for the ayahuasca talks. Any question, any like subject that you feel that you want to know, feel welcome to suggest us, and we will come back.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Francisca.
I wish you good night, people in Europe, and good day over the sea.
Bye, everybody. Good night. We will upload this video on YouTube. You can watch it later. Bye.
Bye.